Hi everyone, it's Sam Vokes at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to the Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show with myself and Bob. Do you remember when we used to count the number of Wycombe Wanderers shows we'd got to in the season?
I'm sure that ever since we've started those special little voiceover things, whenever we play them, then the player scores.
Oh,
have you noticed? Because Sam Vokes, of course, scored on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I think we should maybe get the whole team to record them and play them a lot.
As a sort of a good luck thing.
Indeed, yes. Yeah. So if you want to put a bet on Sam Vokes scoring against Gillingham, not that I'm condoning betting or anything.
No, but it might financially benefit you.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Or the station, because we haven't got much money really.
Or it may not as well. We should do that disclaimer.
We should indeed. Yes.
If you enter after a certain time, you may still be charged.
Betting amounts can go up and down, or whatever they say with regards to financial things.
On the show this week, we'll be looking back to the fantastic comeback victory against Morecambe.
Woo!
I know, it's not a panto. And also we'll be reflecting on this will be interesting. And we'll be reflecting on our Papa John's trophy exit.
Boo!
It is like a panto. And we'll hear from manager Gareth Ainsworth.
Hooray!
It felt like we were on like a terrace there, wasn't it? Just you though.
Yes, yeah.
You know when they say there's only one person singing.
That's how it slightly was at Stadium MK, to be honest.
Oh, more on that to come.
Indeed.
Let's start with Saturday.
Indeed.
Very wet.
Yes.
But
2-0
very
down,
exciting.
and we were all thinking,
As you would.
And also, because Gareth had made so much about Morecambe being our bogey team, even though when you then looked back at the results, you thought, well, we haven't done too badly against them. It was like, oh, well, self-fulfilling prophecy, Gareth. But then, all of a sudden...
The half-time team
talk. Yeah. And I always think that as well, is that you're quite often waiting, aren't you, to get to half-time sometimes if it's a bad performance. And you know that actually, surely the team can't perform as badly in the second half. And sure enough, it was one of those magical Adams Park afternoons. How many 4-3s is it that we've now had in the past few seasons? This was certainly the third, or if not the fourth.
And you just can't sort of see them or feel them coming either, can you? I think that's what's quite nice about them in a way as well. Because you get to, sort of, as you say, you get to 2-0 down and you thought,
yeah, definitely. just in that really,
Perhaps not as a player. Perhaps as a player you think, this is a great challenge to come back from.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing though with the team now, and I think that's why we're in such a good position at the moment, because this team doesn't know when they're beaten. And I know that we've said that about Gareth teams sort of like down the years, but this team really does have the talent, I think, to actually be able to think, well, okay, 2-0 down, 45 minutes to go against Morecambe, we've still got a chance. Whereas I think once upon a time we might have thought, when we were in League Two and possibly hadn't got the players, we might have thought, oh, okay.
And then to come back like that, though, to even to be 3-3, I guess at a point you think.
Yeah, the fact that we went 3-2 up, then really, you should see the game out from there. Tapasoli obviously scoring after 73 minutes. Morecambe then equalising after 80 minutes, and you're possibly then slightly thinking, oh, well, that's point is fair to both teams. And then Curtis Thompson scoring in the big games.
As he does.
Absolutely. 90 minutes plus 2. And just, limbs everywhere, I think is the phrase, isn't it?
Yes. Well, apparently.
Yes.
We should provide a glossary for older people.
Not that I was on the terrace, but I can imagine that it was limbs everywhere.
No, I think there were certainly those. But also, it's
I'm not sure if Rob Lesperance was actually at the game, but if he was, I wouldn't imagine that his tee was very, very safe.
No, he was certainly outside for the
build-up. Yes, he was. Yes. We'll be outside again on Saturday as well. Come and say hello.
It's rare to have 2 home games on the bounce.
It is, yes. And of course, the surprise this week as well, just the fact that the Gillingham game will be going ahead, even though we've got enough international call-ups. But again, I think that's a really good sign, isn't it? The fact
absolutely.
that we're actually saying, okay, we're going to play this game, even though we've got international call-ups. The confidence is obviously flowing even through the side. And we could go top on Saturday.
This is very exciting.
It is.
Quite a shock to see Sunderland lose 4-0 to Portsmouth.
Yes. I mean, they're each other's bogey team in some way, aren't they? Whenever they play, you can just imagine them sitting around both saying, "We've got to get out of this division." We should be in the Premier League, really, shouldn't we?
I felt sorry for these Sunderland fans who clearly had to make quite a long journey back.
Yeah, I mean that is one of the longer journeys. But at the same time, I don't feel too sorry for them, because definitely when we went up there was very much a feeling of, we shouldn't be playing little teams like Wycombe. No. And you think, well, goodness me, you've been in the League One longer than we have now.
Yeah, you tell them.
Yeah,
let's tell them. Any Black Cats fans who probably aren't listening to this. But a very good result, a very good comeback, and a fantastic 3 points, which keeps us in the hunt, as they say.
It does.
Which at this stage of the season is pretty good.
That's all you need.
Gareth spoke to Matt after the game.
Half-time, there's a few choice words, but nothing crazy. I'm not losing my rag anymore. I had a good chat with Andrew Howard before the game, and I think we both talked about how we've developed as a club and how we now see things more. So it was about keeping composure at half-time. We were poor first half, a couple of bad decisions ended in goals. And also I thought that the boys, maybe the pitch has come out, the weather, the touch wasn't there, and the basics weren't there. And formation didn't work. So totally. So the change at half-time was a formation change. It was enabling to get more players on the ball. But I said to them, get your touch right, get your passes right, because that's your fundamentals. That's what we live off as footballers. They did. They scored 4 goals. I mean, what a finish, in front of the terrace end there. They get some entertainment there, don't we? We should put the prices up in that terrace, I think.
Don't give Rob any ideas.
Because they get unbelievable entertainment, I'm only joking. They pay a good price to be here, and I love them being here, And games like that, get down here, get supporting the boys. The Morecambe fans, I have to give them credit, they were superb. And the Morecambe team, they deserved their 2-0 lead at half-time. We were poor, and they took advantage of that. But second half, I'm proud to say the boys responded. They gave me what I asked for, but also they gave more for each other. That's what this team does, People use team spirit in a real throwaway term sometimes. We got good team spirit. There's something more here. It really is, And I know people will be looking at it going, don't be silly, you're just saying that. It is. It really is, You see the substitutes at the end there running on the pitch, and Darryl Horgan's face, who's come off and probably disappointed to come off, but the celebration he had at the end, it's just a special place, And again, historic game. I'm really, really pleased we've done Morecambe, because they always do us here, and they've scuppered our chances over the years. But like I say, I'm a North West boy, and I understand that that's going to be a long trip home. But they did themselves proud today. I'm just glad we managed to come away with the win.
How do you cultivate that, though? Because we remember Carlisle and Swindon and Scunthorpe and Southend, but half your squad don't remember that, but the same traits are still there. There's something ingrained in Wycombe Wanderers at the moment, isn't there?
You've got Joe Jacobson, Matt Bloomfield, Curtis Thompson, Dominic Gape, they've been in these games, Curtis only scores in these games, I think. So it's ingrained. The feeling around that dressing room is that we always have a chance. We always have a chance. I told the boys I believed in them at half-time. I believed they could win it 3-2. I got that wrong as well, but... so proud and so pleased that what we've done and what we've worked on and what we've got at the moment, Rob and Pete have backed me to the hilt to get this deep squad. It's paying dividends, because from the bench today I thought they were excellent, as well as the ones who started. It's a real team squad performance, and then you look up in the stand and all the development boys are on their feet. Special place, special times, and I'm really hoping it's a special season.
It does sound like, on one hand, you've got, we're a much bigger squad now, and on the other hand, it's like, we haven't got that big a squad at the moment.
Yeah, and I think we saw that on Tuesday night when actually quite a few first-teamers were in it's certainly in the squad for the MK Dons game.
Because I think I saw in Gareth's post-match comments that, obviously we'll reflect on that game in a sec, but he was saying that a number of the development defenders certainly were injured, so he had to draft in a few of the big
because
guns.
the defence felt quite solid, even though we lost 2-1. But again, it's good to see the fact that actually we're now talking about Wycombe having a squad rather than in the old days where it used to seem like Wycombe had a team and a couple of extras, a bit like you might do if you were playing Sunday League football.
And really interesting to hear the manager saying he doesn't go in at half-time and rant and rave at the players.
Good, isn't it? I find that fascinating, and I find that actually for the players as well, that must be really reassuring that they know that even if they put in a bad performance, yes, he's going to speak to them, I would imagine fairly harshly, but fairly rationally as well. And you can imagine some managers going in there and the infamous hairdryer treatments or throwing things around or whatever. And clearly that doesn't happen at Wycombe. And I think that again must make the players play with confidence, because they know that actually they're not going to be scared. Put it that way.
And really acknowledging as well that a formation change was required.
Yes, yeah, and he always does that as well, doesn't he? He does say, well, ultimately it's down to him. And again, as a player, that must be really, really reassuring to hear, rather than actually the manager coming out and saying, well, I've done my best
And great credit to the players as well, that if your manager says to you at half-time, right, the second half we're doing something a bit different, we're going to play in a different way, that they can adapt to that as well. Obviously, they work on it, I'm sure.
Definitely. But the fact that he was able to do that, and credit to the players, that they were able to then carry out his instructions basically to the letter and end up with the 3 points. Because certainly at half-time you would have been thinking, well, if we get a point out of this, we'll be doing well. You certainly probably wouldn't have imagined that we were going to get 3.
No. 3 points in the bank.
Indeed.
And well done to Gareth McCleary, Player of the Month.
Yes, yeah.
Much deserved.
Winning that competition.
It's an in-joke.
Knew that would make you laugh.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. Moving on to Tuesday night and a trip in the Papa John's Trophy, which, if Wycombe had won, would we still be in the competition?
Yes. Yes, we would.
Because it's a strange
we're
group stage thing.
So because MK Dons and Aston Villa have now won both of their games and us and Burton have lost both of ours, we're both now out. So we've got an exciting dead rubber to come against Burton next month, which I'm sure will break attendance records, probably in the wrong way, at Adams Park. But yes, had we won it, we still would have had a chance of getting through.
So you went to Stadium MK?
I did. It's a funny old place, Stadium MK. For a start, some teams, clubs, have pictures of players around the stadium outside. MK Dons have pictures of Marco Pierre White.
Oh, does he do their catering?
I assume that there is some connection there. I don't assume that it's a completely random thing.
They're clearly well fed, if that's the case.
You do sort of walk.
We have Will the chef, though.
It's a bit strange here. And also on the concourse, they have carpet.
Oh.
Which again, I've never seen at any other football ground. Obviously, if you go and you're in like the really posh bit, then yes, in football grounds they have carpet, but not for generally the supporters. They don't normally have carpet on the concourse. They do at MK Dons.
Oh,
strange,
interesting.
Strange place
in front of the scenes news there.
Indeed, yes.
Perhaps Pete Winkelman likes a good carpet.
I think he probably does. Yeah, or maybe somebody came along selling them cheap.
Yes, that's probably.
But yes, and obviously slightly strange being in quite a big stadium for a Papa John's Trophy game. They made all of the MK Dons fans sort of sit together, sort of a few blocks down from us. And then strangely we were on the corner as well, which I don't really like, particularly when there aren't many of us. It would have been nice if they put us behind the goal. But they didn't, so we were over one of the corner flags. But the nice thing was, in the second half, every time JJ came over to take a corner, how normally maybe the person coming over and taking a corner would get a round of applause the first time that he did it. Well, JJ came over, every corner he took, but he basically got almost a standing ovation, which was lovely. We just kept that going throughout the whole of the second half.
I think that should be quite appropriate if you score from corners.
Well, indeed, yeah. Again, it looked like he came close a couple of times, more in the first half. But yeah, I definitely think that he does practice those.
Because the first half a bit quiet, I guess, especially from a Wycombe point of view.
It was okay. So, funnily enough, they both scored almost an identical goal in the first half. So MK Dons going ahead after 4 minutes. We then equalised after 8 minutes with a carbon copy of the MK Dons goal, where the ball came across the goal mouth and was put in. Brandon Hanlon scoring our goal.
He's doing quite well, isn't he?
He's doing rather well, isn't he? Indeed. It was quite an entertaining game, actually. I quite enjoyed it. But annoyingly, we then conceded from a set piece in the second half, which I'm sure Gareth was very cross about. Actually, let's hear what he had to say.
Disappointed to be out of the cup, but pleased with the performance. Thought second half we did really well. Set piece, I've really disappointed with the boys. We conceded a set piece because they deserve more out of the game, but you've got to defend your set plays. I think they only had 4 penalty box entries for us second half, and I think with double figures in the 20s entering their penalty box. Just again, final ball, final shot on target. We need to just nail that. But as I say, I don't think Adam Prisbeck had a save to make apart from that one, in the second half. But their keeper as well. We need to test the keeper more. But we had some youngsters out there. Connor Parsons again on his second game for us, and I thought he did really well. And Anis again as a young boy, Ollie Pendlebury and TJ Dubai, all featuring, and Adam Prisbeck. So a real good spattering of our development squad players. And nice, no injuries. Got to rest 1 or 2, which is good, and learnt a lot about our players, MK Dons, and looking forward to, like I said, the home game against MK. But that's way off my thoughts now. It's Gillingham Saturday now, which is the priority. I'm really pleased with what I've seen in quite a few players tonight.
A few Wycombe fans had their eyebrows raised when they saw Joe Jacobson starting and Jordan Abita as well. They played the whole game. What was the thinking there?
Well, we've got no other players who can play defence. So I got Ryan Taffazoli and Anthony Stewart, but I think their eyebrows would have been raised if those two had started as well. So with Chris Farino and Max Ram and Jack Wakely, Andre Burley and James Clark, and within the development squad, all defenders, all out at the moment. So that's obviously forced my hand to play some of the players who played Saturday. But again, you know, JJ is going to end up a legend of this club. You know, the amount he's played for us, and he was fine to lead the team out. Jack and Jason McCarthy and Jordan Obita, you know, all the J's actually, yeah, 4 full-backs by trade, and I thought they did really well. Like I said, defending that set piece, but no, learnt plenty, enjoying what we're doing. But Gillingham on Saturday now is my main focus. I want that game, wanted that one on. We've obviously got a couple of players away on international duty, but I think we've got a depth that we've never had before, a real strong depth, and I think it's showing week in, week out in the league now.
It'll be a tough game against Gillingham, but with the fixtures that are off, if Wycombe win, they'll put themselves in the top 2. That must be a real carrot for you.
Of course, you know, but it's really early days. It's a long season, Phil, you know, and your consistency is key. I don't want anyone getting carried away with anything at the moment. You know, we've just got to keep this squad ticking, keep the fitness levels high, and get more minutes into these boys who aren't playing. I'm really pleased with where we are right at the moment. Like I say, the backing's brilliant from upstairs, and the backing from downstairs. My players, they're backing what I'm asking. They're doing it. They're loving it, and yeah, Wycombe's looking okay at the moment.
We have a downpour here at Stadium MK tonight. Are you looking for a dry Saturday?
Whatever, you know. The leather jacket's waterproof, so it's pretty cool. You know, this time of year, the weather does come into play. You know, I think you saw at Portsmouth Sunderland Saturday. Those conditions do come up, you know, and that was an absolute deluge. We've been down at Portsmouth on a famous occasion when it got called off, and that pitch there towards the end looked horrendous, but you've got those conditions to cope with, you know, and it's going to be about the teams who don't just turn up on the pretty summer football pitches, but we've got this 3 or 4 months now of this slog of winter that you know, it often does tell a season, and so we're going to be ready for that. We've got players who can scrap and fight, but we've also added some real quality to our players as well. So yeah, I've got selection headaches, but nice ones. And like I say, come the other side of Christmas, I think you start looking at how the table's shaping, what you want to do. Well, like I say, my only focus now is Gillingham coming to Adams Park on Saturday, and we're going to work hard on what we can do against Gillingham, how we want to play, and hopefully we can get a good result.
Phil Catchpole asking the questions there.
It's a strange balancing act, isn't it? Because you see sort of pundits and lesser people saying things like, "Oh, the league's our bread and butter," but you just think, well, yes, but it's nice to have a cup run as well.
Indeed. Other leagues are our pizzas. No pizza for us. No, I think this season, though, it's definitely true, isn't it? And particularly thinking of some of the things that Pete Coohiggin particularly said in the lead up to the Manchester City game. Yes. I don't think that the Papa John's Trophy was particularly high on our list this season. The fact that we were having to play some of the first teamers in the team, because obviously some of the development squad, B team, whatever you want to call, Sam Grace's boys, I think is the way that Gareth is now referring to them. They were injured. But yeah, I don't think the club will be too disappointed that we're not going to be at Wembley in the Papa John's Trophy this
But as well, I think we've already got these really nice cup stories of twice winning on penalties and obviously getting to play Man City as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you know, when you look at the League Cup, that was good. We've got the FA Cup coming up soon. It'd be nice if we could maybe draw a couple of small teams and then a nice big team in the third round or something. That's what I'd go for.
That's quite. Remember, you had that here.
Not MK Dons away again, please. It's going to be that now, isn't it? But please, not MK Dons away again. You know,
we've seen enough of them.
Well, indeed, and also it's just a faff to get to, isn't it?
Yes.
You either have to go all the way down on the round on the M25 and then back up again, or you have to go all the way through Aylesbury and then you're only halfway there and you've got to continue on those little roads.
And I don't want to suggest it, but it might be even colder as well.
That's true. Yes. It was quite chilly on Tuesday night.
Yes, you needed your battery-operated trousers.
I did, yeah, and I didn't have my battery-operated trousers. Very, very annoying.
Do get in touch with Bob if you want any more battery-operated trouser information.
Yeah, a bit like Pete Winkleman sells the carpets, I sell the battery-operated trousers. I'm on commission.
I'm sure you've got some sort of deal going with the club shop as well.
Well, they haven't done the battery-operated trousers in Wycombe colours yet. You can get dog leads still.
What about soft closing?
If your dog hasn't got a Wycombe Wanderers dog lead, then get down to the club shop.
What about soft closing loose seats? Have you looked into that yet?
I haven't looked into that, no. No, but I must, because that was a complete revelation last week when you revealed that you had 2 soft closing loose seats, and I didn't even know what they were.
If you don't know what we're talking about, I thoroughly recommend listening to last week, so it'll make more sense.
How have I got to the age of 47 and not know about soft closing loose seats?
It's just something you have to live with.
It's becoming a little goal of mine now on the programme to try and corpse Colin every couple of minutes.
If you have tuned in and not heard this show before, soft closing loose seats is not something you probably expect to be brought up, so to speak. But yes, if you listened to last week's show, that was
they go down. That's surely the idea of them. Still to come on the show, we'll be hearing from Dominic Gape. We'll get Gareth's thoughts ahead of the game against Gillingham. And we will also hear from Wycombe's head of media, Matt Cecil.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Hi, this is TJ Dubois at Wycombe Wanderers. Our next home game is right around the corner. Make sure you head down to Adams Park for an afternoon of fun, food and football. Tickets are available from tickets.wwfc.com.
Still to come on this week's Wycombe Wanderers Show, we will be hearing from manager Gareth Ainsworth once again ahead of Saturday's game against Gillingham. We'll also hear from head of media Matt Cecil. Something has been banned from Adams Park today. If you haven't been aware of the news, then stay tuned because Matt will be revealing all. And speaking of Matt Cecil, earlier on today, he had a chat with Dominic Gape.
I thought it was lovely of the management staff to ease you back in against Man City as well for your first game back. What kind of experience was that for you?
Yeah, to be fair, I was buzzing with that. Although it wasn't quite the result we wanted, we had our moment to go 1-0 where we could dream and believe and think, could this would be so Wycombe. But then at the same time, looking back on this generation of footballers when we're a bit older, I can say now I've picked my wits. I've played against the best in the world. I mean, probably the same as you, I sat and watched Sterling be England's best player in the summer, and a couple months later to play against him was just a brilliant experience, and I think all the boys share that, and it was just mind-blowing to see the levels and what the best looks like. So yeah, it was great.
It must have been extra special as well, making that first appearance and kind of putting those injury problems behind, because it has been such a stop-start time for you, hasn't it? But just getting across the white line must have felt like a real achievement.
Yeah, it's been tricky, but again, I'm here now, so this is where I'm at. It's nice to get some minutes on the pitch, to get through them, play some more minutes in Papa John's Tuesday. Again, it's just nice. Like, I'm enjoying being out there. I'm enjoying training. I'm enjoying all the novelties. And yeah, it's touch wood. Like, things I stay fit and healthy, and can crack on now.
While you've been absent from the team, the side have obviously enjoyed such a good start to the season. I know you've been at some of the games and watching from home from some of them, but what's been your take on the side start to the season?
Yeah, same as every year since I've been here, really. Each year we seem to find more, we seem to go up a notch, the standards and the levels, and that's everywhere from at the training ground to sort of the way the boys are, how professional we are, the standard of player in the door. The training levels have been up to notch this year. We've made some great signings, and I think that's sort of after the experience of last year and learning and doing all that learning in the Championship, although it wasn't pleasant at times, you can see now we've fully benefited from that, and we've had a great start. We know what we want to achieve this year, and we've had a good start to hopefully help push us to our goals.
You're now one of the longest serving players at the squad, which seems crazy to say, but I think it was evident on Saturday, the win against Morecambe, that no matter what players come and go here, there is a culture, isn't there, that when the team goes down and it's having a bit of a struggle in the first half, it will bounce back, and that was evident, wasn't it, on Saturday, that new signings come in but still play the Wycombe way. Yeah,
of course. There's something about Wycombe that no score is out of reach. 2-0 at half time shouldn't even be batted an eyelid at now. But yeah, they're phenomenal, and I think it's the team spirit, the character. You know, no one loses their heads. Everyone knows we've got the quality. We can still win the game, and the belief that the gaffer and Dobbo and the staff show in the players, and then the players to go out there and do it for each other. And you know, it's a really special dressing room, and like moments like that keep happening because of the special dressing room.
We said earlier it's been a bit of a stop-start time for you, and just when you play a game, something else happens and you end up in a medical room or hospital. You've been in hospital for a different reason as this in recent times. Tell us. Tell us your news.
Me and my partner Maggie have had our first baby together. Yeah, we've got a newborn daughter called Mia. So yeah, as well as a good start on the pitch, a good start off the pitch for me as well. I'm delighted. Yeah.
Yeah. How's the first week of fatherhood been?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm fascinated. Catch myself staring, but yeah, it's all going well. Mum and baby are doing well, so yeah, it's exciting times.
Was the birth better or not quite as good as scoring at Chesterfield? You shouldn't have to think about that, Dominic.
Obviously, the birth was better, but the Chesterfield one is special as well. So. Two unbelievable moments, but yeah, I think last Wednesday was better.
If baby was a boy, would you have called him Scott?
Probably not. Just because I think Scott would have been a nightmare as a kid.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, Scotty's messaging me lots. Actually, he's desperate to come down and visit.
I suppose you've had a lot of practice babysitting Scott Cashgate for a few years, so being a new father must be quite straightforward after putting up with him.
Being a father's way easier than looking after Scotty.
So he is coming down in a couple of weeks with Crew, obviously, and this home form, I feel like we're getting into serious mode again now, talking about football, but the home form has been so key, hasn't it, for the side so far. Gillingham on Saturday, Crew next up, and I guess the team are confident going into every game they're playing now. Yeah,
definitely. The fans are amazing at Adams Park. See more and more coming in now, and there's a real good atmosphere. The boys are putting on a show, and it's good to watch. There's entertainment. Must be one of the best season tickets in the league in terms of entertainment. I know the Couigs are spending a lot and putting a lot into making the experience on match day as best as possible, and if the boys can keep performing and we can keep winning games at home, then yeah, it's going to become a real fortress, and hopefully it can stay like that all season.
Matt Cecil there speaking to Dominic Gape. We're going to ask Matt now to change hats from interviewer to interviewee. I spoke to Matt earlier on today about the news that broke this afternoon about a certain thing that's being banned at Wycombe Wanderers, and we also talked about their attempts to get as many people to the game against Gillingham as possible. I put it to Matt that the first thing that the club really should be highlighting is don't leave early.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. It was so Wycombe, I think, is the saying that everyone has kind of started to adopt, that we become used to these sorts of games. And in fact, just this week on the website, we dug out 10 games in the last 4 years that have been high scoring with late drama. And you think usually you're lucky to see one every few years. And we've been blessed here at Adams Park, and there's just something about this place, this team and this manager that just creates the most intense drama and excitement right down to the final whistle. And Saturday, which is another perfect example, and you're right, I know people like to beat the traffic and get away before the end, but really, if you're going to pay for the ticket, you should get full value from it and watch all 98 minutes or whatever there might be.
And completely, I never understand it, to be honest, Matt, because you wouldn't go to Cineworld or the Empire Cinema to see the new James Bond film and think, with 10 minutes to go, actually I want to beat the traffic, I don't want to find out what happens at the end. And so even if it's the most boring 0-0 draw, still stay until the end, because as you say, it's so Wycombe anyway that actually we might do something wonderful that people will be talking about for years.
Yeah. Exactly that, and to be honest, I think there maybe have been Wycombe teams down the years where you'd think they could play until Wednesday and not score. But this Wycombe side, and I think especially with the atmosphere that the fans generate, and I think you can really sense already the difference between this year and last season, where maybe there was one occasion last year, that Bristol City game, where we had this late drama and the Akinfenwa penalty, but without the fans there sort of sucking the ball in and generating that noise and that atmosphere, it was maybe tougher for the boys to create that kind of late drama. So, certainly here, with this team and the spirit that exists And no matter what players come and go, that culture still seems to remain. So it was brilliant to watch, brilliant to be part of, and the dust is only just about settling before we open the gates again and welcome fans back in this Saturday.
Yeah, and I know that there have been a couple of changes then. You've said today on social media and also on the official site as well that actually a new rule is coming in with regards to musical instruments.
Yeah, it's a hot talking point. Every time we open the social media channels, we're very aware here of what's going on with the fans, and there's a lot of consultation that takes place privately as well as publicly, and the trust have had a lot of involvement in it. And we've also got a chief financial officer in Pete Kuig, who doesn't just stay in the boardroom for his 3-course meal, but he walks around every part of the stadium every match day. He speaks to people, he sees things firsthand, and just a lot of things have come across as the last few weeks that there's been some growing tensions, particularly in the terrace. Some people are really for the drum and they want everybody to get behind it and make loads of noise, and they'd have 20 drums in there if they could. And for some people, the drum and the noise that comes with it is it's just too loud, too much, and it riles some people up. So those kind of conflicts have just started to raise a few tensions, and the club have just had to take on board some feedback and think now's the time to take the sting out of those situations and just ask those fans not to bring their instruments for a bit, to put their energies instead into singing, into clapping, into making as much positive noise as they can behind the team. And we just hope that after, a short period, hopefully, of no instrument, as we say, the sting will be taken out of the situation. And
I think it's very impressive how you're going about this, and it doesn't sound draconian or anything like that, and clearly a lot of thought has gone into it. I completely appreciate that there'll be some people listening to this, and possibly fans further afield, who will have absolutely no idea what we're talking about whatsoever, and will think that's slightly bizarre. And I have said on this programme previously as well that I think it's almost a good thing we're talking about somebody who drums, because there are other clubs, the Macclesfields of this world and the Berries of this world, who've got far more greater things to worry about. The fact that we're actually at Wycombe, one of the hot topics on social media at the minute is the drummer. That's in some ways that is a really, really good thing. But I can completely understand the point of view that the club are taking, and I know that for some people, yes, they really, really want as much atmosphere to be created as possible. I think that's what we all want, but I think there are other people as well who would say the trouble actually with the drumming is that it's pretty much incessant for 90 minutes, and it means that other fans can't actually generate chants and atmospheres themselves.
Yeah, I think we've actually just today had an hour-long meeting with the fan in question, and his energy and his positivity is absolutely not in question. Such a passionate supporter of the football club. So there's kind of been no disciplinary lines crossed. There were a couple of fans ejected at the weekend. Not him himself, people around him who are actually maybe against his actions and didn't want the drum to be quite so vociferous. But look, our priorities here are the health and safety and the enjoyment of everyone that comes through the gates, and also encouraging more fans to come through the gates. And we have seen a drop-off in ticket sales at each home game so far. We're down to just 250, I think it was, that bought tickets on top of the season tickets in the terrace on Saturday. And this is a side that has won all 4 home games so far with great drama. We need the crowds to start picking up. And we need to change things and remove barriers that might be stopping people from coming. And if there is issues on the terrace and these tensions that are just starting to boil over, then hopefully taking the sting out of that will encourage more people to come along and rally together, towards one common goal of getting behind the team, rather than creating these fractions of those who love the drum and those who don't like the drum. So, you're right. It's nice to be having a conversation about atmosphere and the experience, and everybody's going to have different opinions on what they want from their match day. Some want to be on the terrace making loads of noise. Some want to be sat up in the Frank Adams with the best view. Match days need to deliver something for everyone, and we're very conscious of that. And we just hope that those that come on Saturday have a wonderful time, get behind the team, see our 5th win, and that might well leave us top of the table if we win and Plymouth don't, I think. So, plenty of positivity around the club. And as I say, we've met with the lad who plays on the drum today, and we've explained the rationale and told him this isn't a permanent step. It's just been taken to alleviate some problems in the short term and hope that it fixes them in the longer term.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate the fact that you've taken time to come on and explain it all to us as well. And I completely echo everything that you've said. I hope everybody turns up on Saturday. Let's all get behind the team. And if we can end Saturday by being top of League One, then how wonderful that will be.
Yeah, it's just, the expectations are different this year to 2 years ago, I think. I think we're actually tracking better than we were a couple of years ago when the Cougs had just come in and invested this money into a side that really was gearing up for a relegation battle and ended up winning promotion. And I think, Wycombe Wanderers as a club may have sailed under the radar a little bit in terms of, the national spotlight, and they're kind of expected to be at the top now because of the year in the Championship. We know it's a tough league. We are adhering to the cliche of it being one game at a time, and we know that Gillingham are going to be a tough side with, the manager and the calibre of players they've got. But there's just something about the club with the momentum at the moment. We as a club are so excited to watch this team, to support this team going forward throughout the season, get as many fans through the gate as possible, and really expand on it. And I have to say, the addition of the Wycombe Sound live broadcast from the car park has really helped with the experience as well. I think it's great hearing it boomed across the car park, and having you guys as part of the matchday experience has been a real boost for us as well. So I think all of these things tying together, working as closely as we can with the community is great, and it's such an exciting time to be part of the club.
Oh, completely. Yeah, and we absolutely love being there on a Saturday. We're very grateful that you have us there. We love playing and being part of the rock and roll football mentality at the club, and long may it continue.
No, that's great. Thanks very much, Bob. And we'll see you Saturday.
You will indeed. Still to come on the Wycombe Wanderers show tonight, we will be hearing from Gareth Ainsworth ahead of the game against Gillingham on Saturday.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on tonight's Wycombe Wanderers show, we'll hear the thoughts of Gareth Ainsworth ahead of Saturday's game against Gillingham. Wycombe Wanderers women beat the exotic-sounding London Benfica FC 3-0 in the FA Cup second qualifying round at the weekend. The Chairgirls' goals all came in the first half and were scored by Kiana Fryer, Emma Kern and Felicity West, and keeper Amy Whale also saved a second-half penalty. Afterwards, coach Dave Ward gave his thoughts along with Emma and Amy.
Always nice to keep a clean sheet and to get a win, especially in the FA Cup. Really good performance from the girls, particularly in the first half. Second half, I thought we looked very comfortable. They didn't really cause us an awful lot of problems, and on another day perhaps we should have extended the lead and taken a few more opportunities, but overall got to be pleased with that, and it's progress to the next round.
And Emma, congratulations on your goal today. How did it feel?
Well, it's the FA Cup, isn't it? Everyone loves to score in the FA Cup. It's a great competition to be in. I think the effort from the girls today was fantastic. We all stuck together, we all worked hard, put in our tackles, played brilliant football, so all smiles.
And Amy, congratulations on your many saves today. What was going through your mind during that penalty?
Well, obviously I was worried because I wanted to keep the clean sheet for the team, and after a great performance of the girls, but I just knew that I had to save it, so yeah.
They're from Wycombe High School asking the questions. The Chairgirls will be away to Herne Bay in the third qualifying round. That game will take place at 2 p.m. on the 24th of October. And Wycombe Wanderers women are back in league action this Sunday when they are away to Woodley United, who of course Gareth Ainsworth plays for their men's side. Talking of Gareth, I spoke to him earlier on today and couldn't resist taking him back first of all to the game against Morecambe at the weekend. Very much I remembered the words that he'd said last season, that actually we would have done so much better in the Championship if fans had been allowed in, just the way that particularly in the second half of games the fans in the Valley Terrace are so good at sucking in the goals, and that's exactly what happened in the 4-3 victory over Morecambe.
Yeah, definitely. The scenes at the end there were fantastic, weren't they? And you could feel in that second half against Morecambe that, first half we did well. We reviewed the game, and honestly, at the first half we were okay. Obviously, 2 sloppy goals to concede, and that compounds everything and makes things worse. And 1 or 2 mutters of at half time from the fans, but I expect that with the standards we've set, and believe me, I had a few mutters in the dressing room. But second half, honestly, Bob, it was that Southend game, that MK Don's game, all the games we've had in front of the fans where those last minute winners have been crucial, and I've had so many down that end. Craig McCall-Smith, I remember going down to Paris, Bale with his heroics, and Swindon and Peterborough. So that one again, I mean, teams wait 3 or 4 years for these games. We seem to have 2 a season. It's ridiculous, but I'm so glad the fans were back in to see that one and to see them all celebrating and to see the footage from the other cameras during the week. Somehow I've managed to try and put it in with my left foot, and I got shown that the other day on the touchline, and I never ever kicked a ball with my left foot, so I don't know what's going on there, but thank you so much, fans. You really helped that day, and it shows how much we do need you. Like I said last year, I think they would have contributed 4, 5, 6 points, and that would have made the difference in the championship. Unfortunately, the pandemic paid to that, but we've got them back now, and we aim to be giving them plenty to cheer about every home game, including Saturday against Gillingham.
I definitely think that you could have a couple of advertising slogans out of that game now. One, we're going to win 4-3, and the other, don't leave early.
Don't leave early. If people are leaving Wycombe early now, after all the years, after the 10 years that we've had, and the goals that go in at 94, 95, I think we had 102 or 103 once against Exeter quite a while ago with a penalty from Paul Hayes, So it is the place for entertainment. It is the place to stay and stick around, and we're trying to make it where if you do stick around, you've got somewhere to go after, you've got your mates to have a beer with, you've got the football to watch afterwards, so stick around and watch the boys, because they're giving everything, believe me, and like you say, 4 goals, brilliant to score 4. Dobbo actually said to me, he said, we're going to hit 4 one day, and I didn't realise the opposition were going to hit 3 on that same day, and that's made it a close one, but we have got goals in us. We've got firepower in us, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do against Gillingham on Saturday, which will be a very tough game because they fight like you wouldn't believe under Steve Evans.
With regards to 2 goals in us, let's just take you back to Tuesday night first of all, and Brandon Hanlon, who's doing fantastically well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really pleased with Brandon. The way he's, I spotted him as a young under 23 player at Charlton. Long time ago. There was him, a boy called Adi Aziz, who we got on loan, and a boy called Josh O'Mara, who we also got on loan. And all 3 of those were shining lights in Charlton's front line. And Brandon was just that little bit younger. But he had the pace. He had more pace than the other 2. And he probably was a little bit smaller. He developed a little bit later. But I'm glad to say now we've finally managed to get one of our long-term targets. And wow, he's turning into a real signing because they say 2 goals in the cup games, made a huge impact on Saturday when he came on. I thought he was a real spark and a real ignition to the forward player. Like I say, I don't like singling players out, but the new signings I think have really slotted in well into the Wycombe way. Josh, Volksy, Sully Kaikai scored the other night for his country as well, So these players that we wanted to bring in and just add to us, they really have, and I'm really proud of the way we're playing at the moment and the way they've settled in. But also, it's testament to the other boys the way that players settle in here. You can be you can give what you give because I signed you to bring what you've been doing, and that's it. You don't have to do too much extra. We'll put that into you. It's a real great place to be, and I think Brandon's epitomising that at the moment.
And you can see how much we've developed now in the fact that a game on Tuesday and the fact that the game on Saturday is going ahead, that we really do have a squad now. It's not a case of just having a team and a couple of extra players. You've actually got a squad to choose from. Yeah, the depth, Bob, is something I've always been after and I've understood always, all through the time of the trust at the start and then the various chairmen I've had and how tough it's been for people to just, give me the resources to get this deep squad in. It's been tough. It really has. We went through the squads at the start of the season and we've had players that really, they weren't really league players, but they were on the bench and some of them got in the team and fair play to them. They gave it their best shot, but they end up falling out the leagues and making a great career in non-league. But we're a league team. We want to be in that top 2 divisions of English football, and to do that, I need players that are league players. And I safely say on Saturday, you look at the bench, and even Tuesday, you look at the bench that we have, and I think it was Akin Fenwer, Hanlon, Kaikai, and
I mean, Wheeler, Gape wasn't even around, Jack Grimmer, all these people, Anish Mamete. These are names that on a bench you'd think, wow, 2-3 years ago these were starters every single week. These were your players that we were relying on. Now we've got 18 outfield players that we can all go, right, I can't weaken this side. I don't know what is my best 11, and I love that. I really do. It's going to be game by game. I don't think top teams should know their best 11. That's my philosophy. I think there's always that rotation that for different games, for various reasons, and that's brilliant to have. I've got a top 18, and I'm happy with that.
And so to Saturday, and our old friend Steve Evans coming back to Adams Park. Quite a controversial character, but I do remember that I think it was 6 years ago now, him bringing his Leeds United squad down to Adams Park for a friendly during an international break.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, whatever people think about Steve, he's always been good to me. He's always been great. We've always had pleasantries, and like I say, he helped us out. Andrew Howard, my chairman, was a huge Leeds fan, and sort of him bringing Leeds down that time was great for me as well. So, but he's a colourful character. He's one of the people in football who you know about. You talk about him, So he doesn't just blend into the background, does he? He's up there. He's out front.
He reminds me of somebody else, actually.
He's got his ways, and I say this game is. That's why we watch this game. That's why people come to. If everyone was the same, it'd be boring. We'd have no fans. But everyone's different. Everyone's got their own little quirks and traits about them. And like I say, it'd be, again, welcoming into Adams Park as I have them many times, and thank him again for bringing his Leeds Town team that day. The club obviously made a few quid on the finances, but also we got a game that we needed. And
I mean, it's not going to be an easy game. We shouldn't be fooled by their league position, because Steve Evans' teams always give you a decent match.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Shrewsbury game. It's one of the toughest games we've had so far this season. So league position, believe me, it doesn't mean a great deal. Being in League One means a great deal, and if you're in League One, you're competitive and you can beat anyone. Doncaster proved that last week against MK Dons, and look at your Ipswiches who were the hot favourites at the start of the season, and they've struggled against some of the lower teams as well. So I am not in any way looking at any team thinking they're the best because they're at the top and they're the worst because they're at the bottom. Absolutely not. It is League One, and you have to be competitive in every single game. And if you're not, I tell you what, you'll get your fingers burned, because teams will come and turn you over, because they're all good professionals, good level players, just like we talked about before. They're all league players. They're all at this level. The beauty of Wycombe, I think, is at the moment we seem to have this deep squad that, wow, it's really good to be able to rotate and put players in and keep players out. And I'm just privileged at the moment. And I keep thanking the owners, but I've never had this before. So again, thank you for letting me get what I needed in, and I'm hoping to repay that with a successful season.
And again, hopefully the fans will repay it by all being there. And again, just to underline it, don't leave early.
Don't leave early. Get down to Adams Park. There's no other games on. League One's your top league in the English leagues this weekend. So please get down, support the Chairboys. They need you, I need you, and we love you being there.
We love being there too, of course. And I know everything that's just been said, but Gillingham aren't doing very well.
Are they not?
No.
I must admit, I have not really taken too much notice of them as an upcoming opponent, and I should have done.
The Gills, or Gills, even. I'm not quite sure which one it is.
No, I think Gills.
Gills. So they haven't won since... they beat Morecambe on the 21st of August.
Oh, we can beat Morecambe.
Indeed, we can. In more entertaining ways than Gillingham probably can. And since they beat Colchester in the EFL Trophy, Papa John's. There was no pizza, by the way, for the fans, which I thought was a bit mean. There was pizza for the media, but not for the fans. Oh. And given that there were only 1,000 of us there, I thought that they could have given some pizza.
You could have had a double XL,
Definitely. Something or other. At the same time, when it was Johnston's paint trophy, it wasn't as if they were giving out paint as you were going in. And then they haven't won this month either. So they lost 2-0 at home to Wigan and 2-0 to Ipswich on Tuesday night in the Papa John's.
And I think something really nice, if you're a fan and perhaps you've not been for a while and you think, they've come back from 2-0 down to win 4-3, I'll go to this.
Yes, you should. That's what you should think. Gillingham also currently 18th in League One. 2 wins, 5 draws, 4 losses. that right? Yes, okay. So they're almost draw specialists.
Oh.
And they have our old friend Steve Evans in charge. Nice Steve Evans, who brought Leeds United down once for a friendly. So, always entertaining. So if you want the maximum entertainment on Saturday, then make sure you sit in what I still call the old main stand.
Absolutely.
Even though I know it's called something else.
Good recommendation.
Yeah.
And also, I think I was speaking to a football reporter friend of mine recently. He was saying how tight League One is.
Oh, look, you have to name drop now. Anyone that we know?
No, not really. Nigel Bidmead, his name is.
Oh, I think I've heard of him.
He used to watch Wycombe as a youngster.
Oh, did he?
With his dad. So we often chat about Wycombe, but he was saying he's seen a lot of obviously Championship football, Premier League football, and League One football comparatively recently as well. And he said that more so than the Championship, the League One is so close in that teams lower down and can beat teams much higher up, and vice versa as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's slightly sad about the Championship is now almost maybe becoming a little bit like the Premier League. But it's nice that we're now in the most entertaining league again, where anyone can beat anyone on their day.
But also hard to call as well, which obviously is, I guess, in a way, you wouldn't want it predictable, would you?
And you said it earlier on. Who saw Portsmouth beating Sunderland 4-0? No, definitely not. That was a bit of a surprise. Or again, indeed, us coming back from 2-0 down against Morecambe, because obviously Morecambe, are not doing badly, and are a bit like us maybe a couple of seasons ago in League One, and you would have thought that they would have seen that out at 2-0.
And as well, I don't think we don't seem to have quite such fixture congestion coming up as well. I think November's a bit quiet.
And I think maybe that's another reason why we've played the Gillingham game rather than saying, we'll go for the international call-ups, because obviously we've got the rearranged Ipswich game coming up.
Yes, that's November, isn't it?
We've got the FA Cup obviously coming up, and clearly, you might get a replay in that. So I think we're doing the right thing. You wonder what would have happened if, say, had we lost to Morecambe. Will we still be playing on Saturday? I'm not so sure. But I think, good that the momentum will keep going. There's only 4 games on Saturday. And obviously, if we win, and I might be wrong in saying if results go our way, because I haven't actually looked to see who the other fixtures are, we will be top of the table.
Yeah. It sounds good, though, doesn't it?
It does.
Even if it's not a wholly accurate asterisk.
Yes, yeah. So you can all start chanting that on the terrace if we're winning. We're Wycombe Wanderers, we're top of the league.
Yeah, even if only briefly.
Yes.
Because I think it's nice as well, because I think comparatively recently we had a bit of a run of away games as well, didn't we?
We did, yeah. So it's nice to have a run at Adams Park.
Yes. Can I tell you a bit of a sort of sneak exclusive as to which ex-player we'll be chatting to next week?
Who are we speaking to next week, Colin?
Steve Thompson.
Ooh,
that would be quite exciting. Another from the Martin O'Neill era. Very much looking forward to chatting to him. Played in all the big games.
Yes, all of them.
Yes, literally.
England and West Germany, 1966. No, okay, maybe not quite that big.
I think he played in that one. No,
you said all the big games.
Yeah, for Wycombe.
Oh yes, of course.
He didn't play in all the big games.
Yes. Not all the big games
in history. Don't think anyone's done that.
No, okay. I can't come back with a
no. It was mildly entertaining, but
yes.
Well done to you.
I think it's probably about time that we finished, really.
Yeah, no. Thank you very much for listening. Do join us next week.
Also, if you haven't learned anything at all from the last 60 minutes or so, the one big message from this week is don't leave early, and make sure that you keep your accordions, your bagpipes, your recorders, your triangles at home. Remember, musical instruments are now banned from Adams Park.